Good afternoon, beautiful people. We're going to just talk about a little bit of lying that's been going on, and it's serious lying. Earlier, I brought up the Melanie Gibb lying by omission. She was at the police station. Now, if you want, East Idaho News reported the 911 calls that Charles had put in on that same day, January 31st, that I reported about today, when I told you that Melanie Gibb didn't do her best by omitting information. Now, in this case, I'm not going to be talking about someone omitting information. I'm going to be talking about someone adding false information to the case of the missing children. Now, what I am here to tell you, that Summer Shiftlet, Lori's beautiful sister that is beyond heavenly, and yes, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic basically because when I watched that 48 hours interview, she blamed all the victims. Who are the victims in this total case? So far, we know the victims are Charles Vallow. He died. He got killed by Alex Cox. And we all know, just like I know Summer Shiftlet knows and her mother Janis Cox, that Alex did kill them in cold blood. He killed Charles in cold blood. He ambushed him at Lori's that morning. It was planned. And I believe, it's my opinion, that Summer Shiftlet was involved with that. So that's one item. The other item I'd like to talk about is the second set of people that go missing. And just recently, we did find out for sure that they had been killed. And it was Tylee at 17 years old, but they had killed her before she had reached her 17-year-old birthday. And JJ, who was 7 when he was murdered by Alex Cox and probably Lori and Chad and whoever else was involved. It could have been Melanie Pulowski. It could have been Summer Shiftlet. It could have been Janis. Who knows who's in this terrible, terrible cult? Because that's what we're talking about. We've always been talking about a cult. We've always been talking about a part of a religion that separated from the original religion and went bad. And what went bad was Chad Daybell. His brother, Matt Daybell, had somewhat disowned him pretty much his entire adulthood. He decided to disown his brother years back. He didn't like his teachings. He didn't like when he opened the publishing company, what he chose to publish for others. And he certainly didn't like what he published for himself, what Chad published of his own writings, his own books. So here we are. We got Summer, we got Janis, and they're all going on shows and giving interviews. And we got Melanie Pulowski doing the same. And they're telling us that JJ and Tylee are in perfect order. They're just held up somewhere to keep them safe from the big bad wolves in the world, which we all know that there's no big bad wolves after Tylee and JJ except their own family and except their own extended family. So therefore, I want to read what Summer wrote today, because I didn't finish with the lineup of the murders. So it was Charles first, Tylee second, JJ third, an attempt on Brandon Boudreau's life. Lucky he survived. The fifth murder was Tammy Daybell. They did make an attack on her on October 9th. Alex, or whoever the shooter was, messed. And then, of course, she was done in, murdered on October 19th, found dead in her bed of unknown causes. So we got a handful of people that have been murdered. 2 of them happened to be children. Now, I want to share with you, Janis Cox, which is Lori's mother, Summer's mother, Alex's mother, JJ's grandmother, got on national TV, 48 Hours, and told the whole world, that on October 1, she had a little bit of a conversation with JJ. That JJ was running around the house while she was on the phone with Lori. And of course, Lori said, hey, you want to talk to Grammy? Because, he calls her Grammy and he knows her. Did you realize that in that interview? That's what she said. And JJ knows us. What kind of statement is this? Is this one of these cult statements again? Like, don't grandchildren that live close to their grandparents supposed to know them? It's not like they're in different countries. They're across the city in the Phoenix general area. Of course, JJ should know you. Why would you say, and JJ knows us. She exclaims that she had a telephone conversation with him that day on October 1. But I'm going to share with you that if the records are correct, which I believe they are, because if I'm going to weigh something, if I'm going to go 50-50, like give one side 50% credit and the other side 50%, I'm going to lean towards the law enforcement and not Janis Cox and not Summer Shiftlet by any chance. They outwardly lied to us. First of all, they told us, or Janis told us, that she had a conversation with JJ that day. Blatant, pathological lie. Secondly, she said that she had that they had very big concerns about the safety of JJ and Tylee. You guys all know that was a gaffe. That was just a ruse. Just a big ruse from Summer and her mother, and of course Melanie Pulowski, even though Melanie Pulowski was not in that interview on 48 Hours, she had been in others. So we're going to lump her right in, because Melanie Pulowski, Janis Cox, and Summer Shiftlet are all the same. They will tell you anything to make it like, A, they didn't know what was going on. B, their children or their relatives will never harm anybody. And C, if they did harm someone, they're going to concoct something. They're going to concoct something, how Lori got tricked or whatever it could be. But the bottom line is this, guys. The bottom line is Charles Vallow is dead. Tammy Daybell is dead. Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow are dead. All because of the hands of Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell, Alex Cox, Melanie Pulowski, possibly Melanie Gibb, who never supported the safety of those children. She's on the fence right now. She's trying to make sure that she lands on the right side of the fence. But she had a lot of opportunity prior to these kids getting murdered. And she knew that that day when she went into that police department on January 31st, and Lori was saying how awful Charles was, she knew it was reverse, and she didn't say a word. She did not try to change the officer's opinion about who really Charles was. But guess who did? Summer and Janis, in their report at 48 Hours, tried to convince the world that Charles was some evil person, and that he was after Lori. And not only was he after Lori, he was after the children. And once they killed him, then it was no longer Charles a threat. Then it went to Kay. Then they took Charles and put their whole creation, their whole lies, their whole barrel of lies into Kay now. And so that whatever they were trying to convince the world that Charles was, now they changed it to Kay. Now Kay was after the kids, and Kay was the big bad wolf, and Kay was treating everyone poorly, as we all know, and as we all praise. We praise Kay Woodcock for doing the best job. And I mean the best job that a grandmother could ever do to try to keep her grandchildren safe. Not at all like the Cox family. They did the complete opposite. They didn't care where the children were. They only cared about their daughter and their sister's image. And I was going to read Summer's letter that she put. It's somewhat of an apology, but not really. So let's not read it. Do you really want to hear what Summer Shiftlet says on her Facebook page today? That's supposed to be an apology to some degree, but really never states the words. She says apology, but she never expresses what that apology would be. See, if you do read her apology, that's up to you. But I'm going to tell you what her apology should have said. You know, I'm going to be her worst critic. It should have said this: hello, world. When my mother and I went on 48 Hours and blamed Charles Vallow for everything my sister was doing, when we cast him in the worst light that we could ever cast a person in, it was because we were trying to protect our sister and our daughter, because we knew she was involved with evil and we didn't know what else to do. We just wanted to see if we could get any sympathy from you guys in the public, because you were really being hard on us. So we're awfully sorry that we disgraced Charles Vallow's name in the public. Secondly, we're awfully sorry that our sister, our daughter, was involved with the murder of Charles Vallow, his children, Lori's children, Tammy Daybell, and the almost killing of Brandon Boudreaux, and possibly the killing of Joe Ryan. So with that said, guys, she didn't say anything close to that. She did some gibberish, they're up in heaven, and, all the gibberish that we hear from these radical cult people. It's all radical ideas. No, Summer Shiftlet, those two kids would like to be here, right on the ground. It is because your evil family took them away. And considering your sister is married to Chad Daybell, I lump him right into your family. You see a Daybell, you see a Cox. And I'm not talking about the Daybell family that has been against Chad all along throughout his whole adulthood. I am talking about the Daybells that support Chad even to today. Because listen, Charles Vallow was a man of honor. Tylee and JJ were children, sweet, lovable children. Tammy Daybell was the real goddess. Your sister couldn't shine her shoes. Your daughter could never earn the honor that Tammy had in society and today. That's all your sister and daughter displays is dishonor. And that will continue right through the trial and right until I hope that they both get the death penalty and whoever else is involved. And I'm against the death penalty because I believe the death penalty is the easy way out. They should sit and rot in jail. And they can do a lot of writing in there. The difference is they can't send their teachings out to infiltrate the weak-minded, the feeble-minded. And that's all they went after. They didn't go after people that had strong constitutions. Because if they did, they would have kicked them right out. The people with the strong constitutions would have said, hitchhike a different direction, will you? You're pretty crazy. No, they went after the feeble-minded. That includes Melanie Gibb. She's as feeble as a 2-year-old. Melanie Pulowski's half her age, 1-year-old. She's still sucking on the pacifier. I am so angry at, you can tell, I've had like so many bad feelings towards this family, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Because that's all they demonstrate is they lie. If they demonstrated that they had human hearts, if they demonstrated that they understand that their family members, including their son Alex, the hitman, were evil, but they will never say those words because they will be just like the Chris Watts case when their parents wouldn't utter disgust for when their son pushed those little girls down those oil tanks. Bella's body wasn't even big enough to fit through the hole on top of the oil tank. She was all scraped up. And those people till today have not come out and said, my son is evil for killing his children. And I believe the Cox is the same way because they just lie. If they don't lie about the actual thoughts, they lie about what they really feel. And they try to psychobabble us that JJ and Tylee and Charles and Tammy all happy up there dancing and singing. Well, you're right, Summer Shiftlet and Janis Cox. We will all be dancing and singing when all of the people involved in all of these deaths, killings of children, your relatives that you could care 2 bits about, we will be dancing and singing when they are put where they need to be. So I will not read your letter. It is not worthy. The only thing that is worthy is Charles Vallow, Tylee, Ryan, JJ Vallow, and Tammy Daybell.